Fatal Fury was always a franchise that I was familiar with even before Terry was added to Smash, which is what I would assume introduced most people to, in the States at least, to the franchise. But before that, I was familiar with Fatal Fury, but hadn't really played any of the games, like not that much. Since Terry was added to Smash Ultimate though, I played many of the games, but I was never really a Fatal Fury fan, you know what I mean? However, with the new game, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, I was beyond excited to check this game out. Not to mention, it's the first game in the franchise since 1999. And after playing it, I can proudly say it does not disappoint. Let's talk about it. Hi guys, DPX here reviewing today Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. And before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell and leave a comment. I'll make you dormant for 26 years. Starting off with the good, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves plays like good old classic Fatal Fury, in that it's just like how you'd remember the older games, but obviously there is some newer stuff. But as for the gameplay, it kind of feels like this franchise hasn't skipped a beat. There's not much to really say about the gameplay because it is Fatal Fury as you know it. It feels like a sequel to Garou, but in the best way. The gameplay is more connected to the characters, you know, and while there is certainly a major issue that people have with the roster, I'd say this is a very good starting roster. You take just about the whole roster of Garou, you know, maybe some that are missing, but still, just about the whole roster, add some other Fatal Fury characters, sprinkle in a little fucking Cristiano Ronaldo and Salvatore Ganacci, which I'll get into a bit more later. But I feel overall, the starting roster is solid. And the characters are really fun too. Call me a basic bitch because I like to play Terry and Mai. The former because he's one of my mains in Smash, and that's what got me to look more into this series in the first place. And the other because, well, I just really like the way she plays, and for no other reason. But also, Ronaldo is pretty fun to play too. Your opinion on him being in this game aside, I think he and Ganacci are both very uniquely designed characters, but in terms of like who is more fun to play, Ronaldo clears. I also really dig the aesthetic. It combines the sort of, you know, for lack of a better word, time jump look that Garou had, while giving it a cel-shaded look, and I think they mesh very well together. Then there are also the modes. First off, you have the normal versus mode. Pretty self-explanatory. But then you have special versus mode. In this, you can customize your matches however you'd like to have wacky rules. Like for example, your super move can insta-kill regardless of the health that your opponent is at. You can also make it so that you don't have to build your super move throughout the match and you just start with it available, leading to some insane shit like this.
Round 1, get ready, fight! SPG.
What you learn? You're gonna love this. He shoots, he scores!
Perfect game! Ronaldo wins! Round 2, get ready, fight!
And stop me! Right between the eyes!
Perfect game! Ronaldo wins!
Pretty funny, right? Then there's the usual arcade mode. Arcade mode in this game works similarly to how it does in many other fighting games where it's like kind of a character's individual story mode. In between each match, there are some cutscenes or really still images with dialogue, but I mean, they look cool. With a final boss unique to everyone, or at least unique to most people's arcade mode, that I won't spoil because some of them are like decent surprises. It's pretty cool. And then there's episodes of Southtown. This mixes an arcade mode with an RPG, if that makes sense. You get a map and there are 3 major areas on the map, and you can drag your cursor over to a certain spot on the map and do a fight while you work to level up your character in order to fight a boss, and when you beat the boss, you will unlock more fights. It's pretty cool and a lot of fun. I do have some issues with it though that I'll get to later, but overall, I enjoyed episodes of Southtown. There is also color edit where you get to just completely customize a character's color, which I think is so cool, and more fighting games should have this. And make it so that you don't like overwrite the actual colors in the game like how this game does it. But either way, color edit is so cool and I had a lot of fun using it. Can you see I like the color green? Also, the music is great. How can you have a Fatal Fury game with bad music? How can you have a fighting game with bad music? And SNK knows this, as there's a jukebox where you can play not only music from City of the Wolves, but music from the entire Fatal Fury franchise, and even other SNK games. It's so cool, and I just eat shit like this up. And in addition to the jukebox, there is an art gallery. Being able to look at artwork, which is just so cool, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is just a great return for Fatal Fury.
Why don't you hum me a few bars of that martial melody?
Moving on to the mixed aspects, the first thing I want to say is what I hinted at earlier, and that is I got some issues with episodes of Southtown, and it's not particularly issues with that specifically, it's more that it feels a little too similar to arcade mode. Like, both serve as each individual character's story mode, and they tell different stories, sure, but I just felt that was odd. And the other thing is the thing about the roster that a lot of people have issues with, and that's the two guest characters, Cristiano Ronaldo and Salvatore Ganacci. Now look, I don't hate that they are in this game. Weird, out of left field guest characters, I kind of have a soft spot for them. But I understand the frustration that you have, you know, a new Fatal Fury game, the first one in 26 years, and two of those spots are taken up by strange guest characters that are only in the game for cross-promotion, and we get those guys instead of actual fan-favorite Fatal Fury characters. However, when they officially announced Ronaldo, I didn't have an issue. I thought it was strange, but in a good way, and it was only one character, but Salvatore Ganacci, I don't know, I think that might just be one more too many. Nothing against Ganacci, never heard of him before this, but I got nothing against him. If it was him first and then Ronaldo, I'd be saying the same thing. But you have not only one celebrity, but two. That definitely feels like a bizarre attempt at cross-promotion. But why is it in the mixed? Well, I don't hate it. On paper, I don't mind Ronaldo or Ganacci being in this game as playable characters, and part of me even really loves that idea. But I would have had one or the other, not both, at least not on the base roster.
Wins.
Moving on to the bad, I'm going to continue what I was saying earlier about the guest characters. It's still not about their inclusion, but I just thought it was a decent segue. Anyways, regardless of how you feel about his inclusion in the game, Ronaldo is at least very fun to play, but I strangely noticed that he is not playable in any of the modes aside from Versus. Sure, maybe they'll patch this when the game actually releases, because I played the game in, like, the early access period. You can't play as him in arcade mode or episodes of Southtown, and that is just really strange to me. It feels like they just forgot to, like, make him playable there. Like, he's completely gone from the character select screen when you go to play either of those modes. It's not so much that this happened to Ronaldo specifically, but it's just so confusing to me that any character is absent and unplayable in any of the game's modes. If this is an oversight, what a weird oversight. If this isn't, what a weird, inexplicable decision. As for other issues I have, you can't restart matches in episodes of Southtown. I understand maybe not being allowed to do that in, like, arcade mode, but why in episodes of Southtown? Another issue I have is that the game usually runs well, unless you play on Terry's stage. The way the background moves just doesn't look good at all, and is kind of distracting. And lastly, unlocking costumes is a bit of a grind. Pretty much all these characters do not have their classic designs, but those designs are unlockable, so you want to get them, but it's just a little too grindy and convoluted.
Hey, come on.
Time to set sail!
Round one. Get ready. Fight.
Overall, despite some issues, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is an epic return to the franchise. Despite being the first installment in the franchise in 26 years and looking drastically different, it feels like Fatal Fury has not skipped a beat. And something I didn't mention, SNK plans to support this game with a lot of updates and new characters and whatnot, which is awesome. Even like a whole slate of DLC that they've announced, including Chun-Li and Ken from Street Fighter, hello? But as it is now, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves certainly does not disappoint, as it is fun to play, has a nice starting roster, even when taking the two guest characters into account. The modes are cool, and it is just another sign that fighting games are back. In the end, I'm going to give Fatal Fury City of the Wolves an 8.5 out of 10. So that's my review for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Sorry that this took a little while. I've been playing this game since Monday, and just a bunch of stuff got in the way. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Do you guys like Fatal Fury City of the Wolves? Yeah, not like it? Have you guys played it, not played it? And if you haven't played it, do you guys want to play it, not want to play it? Anything about the game, let me know down below. Anyways, if you like the video, comment, subscribe, or I will make you dormant for 26 years.